Hey, y'all. Holy shit. We are back for a second episode this week because the trade deadline for the NBA just came and passed. And this might be one of the most ridiculous trade deadlines any of us have ever seen. So we thought we would jump out tonight and do a quick synopsis of what happened, give our quick thoughts for y'all, and then get back to your regular scheduled broadcast of our episodes coming out next week. So, which one to you guys, and everyone that's going to be listening, Andrew, our producer, is with us today. Kevin is with us. We are all rocking basketball jerseys. I've got my JT for the City Edition this year. Andrew, who you got?
JB.
He got JB, who
JB.
is out indefinitely right now with a facial
he got elbowed
fracture.
in the face. He broke. He's gonna come back with a mask. He's gonna be crazy. Trust me.
It was because Tatum's elbow hit him. They both went for the ball.
I know. I saw.
And then Kevin is rocking
too hard.
probably the
I
coolest
am
Nets
rocking
jersey.
the Bed-Stuy, not a biggie, Kyrie Irving jersey with the Nets' former sponsor on there. And it's the end of an era, guys.
That era ended like last year.
But it's official now.
All right. So let's talk about this. Let's not talk about Kyrie. We already did that earlier this week. The one that
the Kyrie conversation.
Because you weren't there. You didn't get to listen to it, Chris. You got to listen to it later.
I wasn't there, you're right. Yeah.
I
did.
And you didn't have to use the bleep button, I don't think. Thank gosh.
No,
but
I haven't bleeped anybody since Chris. I'm just giving up on bleeping.
Good. Give up on bleeping.
Too
Everyone
much
can hear our language.
Yeah.
My gosh.
It's just not for children anymore.
It's still for children. They hear worse things in their parents'
it's
house.
Explicit.
Oh, if we can get the explicit tag.
I'm pretty sure we can get
Ooh.
I think we do on Spotify for sure. I know we do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Go listen to us on Spotify. We're restricted by the parents' authority.
All right, Cyrus, when you listen to this episode, go listen to it on Spotify and tell us if it has the little E for explicit. But the biggest trade, in my opinion, right now is still the Kevin Durant trade. That one shook everybody, I'm pretty sure.
What a way to start your morning.
Woo!
Yeah. I saw it last night before I went to bed. I sent it to the group chat.
Yeah, at like 2 a.m. Everyone else in their right mind is sleeping.
I was working on the We Out Here episode that came out today, so everyone should go watch it.
Can't wait to watch it. I'm hyped for it.
Yeah. We will definitely be watching that. That would be awesome. What are your thoughts on that? Because I have my own, but I want to hear what you guys think. I know we talked about it a little bit, but
go ahead, Andrew.
Go first. Oh, I go first? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I'm excited about this for a few reasons, some of which are selfish and some of which I think are a little naive. First,
I like that he's selfish and naive.
As we've talked about, I'm a Chris Paul fan. So the idea of seeing a 3-stack of Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and Kevin Durant sounds crazy to me when they're really good, and when they're not, it'll be hysterical. The other part of me is excited because we might actually get to see LeBron play KD again, which has been a long time coming. Mm-hmm. Now that they're both in the West, we could get another playoff battle, but that would depend on how successful the Lakers become. We'll have to see.
No problem.
Yeah,
and I also don't like drama, so get him out of Brooklyn. Jesus.
Yeah. I gotta say, I feel horrible for Brooklyn because this is the second time they tried this whole super team deal, and it just literally essentially blew up in their faces. So essentially, they had to do what they had to do. So with that, Kevin Durant and I believe TJ Warren went to Phoenix. They sent over Mikal Bridges, and they sent over Cam Johnson, along with Jay Crowder, who moved to another team. And about how many picks was it?
5 second-round picks. Everything
ESPN is saying 4 first-round picks and a pick swap.
So for Jay Crowder to the Bucks?
No,
to the Bucks. No, to the. Which one are we talking about?
I think we're talking about the KD one. Kevin, you're frozen.
Yeah,
Eh,
Frozen is very still.
no, he's frozen.
Frozen.
He's not that. He's never that still.
He's not that still. No.
But Andrew, you do get to see potentially, depending upon KD's health, March 22nd, the Suns play the Lakers, and then they play again near the end of the season on April 7th. So, and those two games at home for LA.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's pretty awesome.
I think it's interesting. I want to say it was like 2018. The fact that these two players, every time that their teams have played each other, oh, we lost Kevin.
Yeah.
Every time they've ended up playing each other, one of them is injured or not playing. Like,
yeah. I think the trade is phenomenal for both sides, to be straight up.
Yeah.
You get Durant out of Brooklyn, where he seemed to be unhappy for a while. You bring back Malik Bridges, who definitely is the biggest part of that trade, and you get Cam Johnson, who's pretty good. Crowder was just a toss in, and we all knew that, and that's just a salary match. But didn't they send someone else out because of the salary?
Kevin Durant and TJ Warren go to the Suns, and the Nets get
TJ Warren.
Bridges, Johnson, Crowder, 4 first-round picks, and a pick swap
in 2028.
And then
I wish the Suns actually pushed to get more, or the Nets wished to push to get more, because I thought if you're the Nets and you want to secure a better lineup, you need to get you should have tried to pull Ayton on that deal if you could have.
That for 2 reasons. Number one, Ayton doesn't want to play in Phoenix, so the idea that there was this massive trade and he wasn't involved is surprising to me. Second, I think a big reason that this happened this way is because the Nets, not only were they shopping Durant and Irving around, they were very specific with who they were interested in dealing with. I don't know if you've heard this, but apparently both of these players were the other organizations offered the Nets better deals than they got on both of them, but they refused them because they weren't interested in either playing them as much or putting them in positions where they would be very successful.
So the Nets did not trade Irving to LA because Irving, that's where he wanted to go. And then
he wanted to go there,
Nets owner had a better deal in place for him with the Lakers, but he basically just put 2 middle fingers up in the air and walked out.
He pulled a Lovie Smith. He said, "Screw you, I'm not doing this."
Yeah, good for him. I would do the same thing.
Oh yeah.
I think though for the Suns, this does make them a little better. I honestly don't think it makes them much better.
I don't think it makes them as a team better, but it definitely improves their starting lineup.
It does, but I also think the problem with it is none of these the 3 players you just mentioned, Booker, Paul, and Durant. When was the last time they all played a full season of basketball?
Yeah, a while ago.
No offense to Chris Paul.
No,
he's not. He is 30.
He's not what he used to be.
7 years old. Devin Booker, I already said it earlier. Is he really that good, or is it just the Brooklyn Nets all over again in Phoenix?
I think Devin Booker is a very interesting case of when he plays well.
He's
if
good.
he were to play at his peak. This is a take that people are going to disagree with.
Oh boy.
Devin Booker, both mechanically and just like in the state of the game, when he plays at his peak, is one of the best players in the NBA. Like,
I could agree to that.
One of the best.
I think he's one of the best scorers. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. However, like a few other players in this league, none of the others of which have the capabilities he has when he's playing well, he also has the capability to play like absolute dog shit. For some reason, you watch him out there and you're like, are you 17 running around on a JV squad? What are you doing right now? Which makes him hard to gauge. Like I was saying earlier, if this team performs well, they're going to be nasty. But if they don't, they're going to look atrocious, and it's going to be funny.
Yeah. It's,
So it's sort of like a win-win. It's either they're going to be awesome or they're going to be fine.
so Kevin, you're back. Thank you. I'm happy you're back. You froze for a second. It was pretty funny.
Yes, I had to restart the whole machine,
program?
so
Oh,
we're
no.
all
Oh,
good.
jeez. Well, all
Yeah.
right. So what are your thoughts on this, Kevin? Because Andrew and I have kind of gone through it. So what are your thoughts on this trade?
So I think, well, number one, like I said, it's an unfortunate end to an era in
Excuse me.
Brooklyn that, lots of excitement to bring in a guy like KD, and pretty much his years were wasted there. So now he's in Phoenix. Brooklyn needed to do what they need to do. They're gonna essentially restart over all over again. So that's gonna be interesting. So with this, the Suns, you just got the number one guy when it comes to mid-range shooting, which I didn't know. Phoenix is like the top team when it comes to like mid-range shooting percentage.
Yeah,
so
they're really good within 15 feet.
yeah,
Booker, this is like one last thing. When I don't know if you guys, I think I might have mentioned this before, I'm not sure. When he jumps inside the arc, due to his height and the elevation he gets in his shooting form, he only has to increase the height of the ball from release by 3 inches. He's basically shooting it straight. He can line drive every shot with inside the arc if he wants to. That's just how he shoots. It's crazy.
Andrew out here with just some mic drop information for us.
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
Shout out to the stats. But yeah, I think Andrew kind of said it right when I logged back on. I think the key for them is that they're really going to need to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. And I think what we're waiting on is this secondary kind of free agency happen with a lot of the veterans that have been getting traded today. There's going to be a lot of buyouts happening. So they need to make sure they buy out the right person and have them join the Suns. I look at somebody like a Danny Green who can go ahead and guard.
And Serge Ibaka he got bought out too. Yeah, Danny Green got traded.
Yeah.
Rockets.
Yep. We'll talk about that in a second too. Holy shit.
Yeah, so definitely, I mean, the Suns, a lot of people are pegging them to be the favorites. I don't know if I put them to be the favorites to come out of the West just yet. I need to see what they look like on the floor. But I still think Golden State, especially with their moves, I think they got a little bit better as well.
Well, let's talk about that one, and we'll kind of go team by team that made significant moves or any type of move. I would have to say right now the Golden State Warriors are the number one team coming out of the West. They made the right moves. They brought back Gary Payton Jr.
They got Kevin Knox.
They got rid of Kevin Knox.
No, yeah, Kevin Knox is now a Blazer.
Went to the Blazers. They got rid of Wiseman, who is, I love him. I think he's going to be a phenomenal big in the NBA, but he's behind a bunch of guys on the bench. And he's been hurt, never been consistently out there. So go to Detroit. I'm sorry, buddy. You went from sunny California to the middle of Detroit. Oh God.
But that's honestly way better for him.
It gives him an opportunity to play. The Pistons sent Pugh down to Atlanta.
Sadiq Bey is going to Atlanta.
Bey is his last name.
Another young guy. But like the Detroit's they got a good squad, with guys with Cade when he's healthy, and they got.
Well, he's out for the rest of the. He's out for the year.
Yeah, he's out for the year. But like when he gets back, you got him. You got Isaiah Stewart, Wiseman back in there. They're building a young core. So
yeah, I think they'll be good in like a year or two. But I do have to say, the Warriors made really, really good moves for their team. They solidified the second string for sure, coming off that bench. So you're not relying on certain players anymore. You can put in, Gary Payton Jr. instead of who's the little white guy from Villanova on that team? DiVincenzo. Like him. He's a spry little guy, but the one that caught my eye that made me kind of go, wait, what are you doing? Was the Houston Rockets and the LA Clippers. They traded one of our favorite guys on this show. We've talked about him numerous times. We all love him. John Wall
John Wall
for Eric Gordon.
and 3 second-round picks.
And also Danny Green.
And Danny Green was
went to.
he was in Memphis.
Yeah, it's a 3-way.
Yeah, he was in Memphis, and Memphis got rid of him.
And they get Luke Kennard.
Yes,
Clippers get Gordon and 3 second-round picks, and Houston gets John Wall, Danny Green, and a first-round pick swap from the Clippers for the 2023 draft.
Most likely, they're going to. I would assume you're buying out those two players, and John Wall and Danny Green.
Yeah,
I don't see there any scenario where John Wall comes back into that building and goes, "All right, I'm here to play," because they benched him for a year and a half after being healthy. Like, I listened to a story that he was talking about on a podcast, and he basically said they exiled him. The Houston Rockets were like, "All right, so you're rehabbing, but we don't want you around the team. Come in at 7 a.m., train, work out, do what you need to do, go home." He's like, "I was done by 10 o'clock. I'm at my apartment, my house, wherever." He goes, "My kids live in Miami. Why the hell am I here?" So he left. He left the whole organization. He left the state of Texas, the city of Houston, went down to Miami, and did all his rehab, all his basketball stuff down in Miami with his kids. So he's going to be in my opinion, the biggest name on the buyout market once he's healthy.
Yeah.
Because when he was healthy, that team looked really, really good. But none of their stars could stay on the court again.
No.
So Westbrook is gone.
Yeah. This is his 5th team. He signed that huge contract for the Thunder in 2017 or 2018?
2017, and then went to Houston.
and then he went to Washington.
And then went to LA, and now he's with the Jazz.
Now it's the Jazz, yeah.
My God.
Poor Westbrook, bro. What happened to
Russ?
He said he's a cancer.
Shall we recap the details of that
Yeah,
deal?
let's go back. So that was last night.
That's a lot.
That one, I saw it come across my phone
as I was
watching the Celtics game, and I was like, "No, this isn't real." Like, I did not believe it, because I'm like,
it's an interesting trade.
The trade doesn't really make sense, in my opinion. The
Lakers get D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. The Timberwolves get Mike Conley Jr., Alexander Walker, Juan Toscano Anderson, and Damian Jones, 2024, 2025, 2026 second-round picks. And Utah gets Russ and a 2017 Lakers first-round pick, which is a top 4 protected pick.
Okay. So for me, the Lakers needed to get younger.
Yeah.
They did. They brought back D'Angelo. Jared Vanderbilt,
which could be a good move, because he's
in a good
D'Lo's
spot now.
really good.
They need shooting too. So
yes, Vanderbilt. Beasley also was a solid shooter. So they got the help there. They need some younger guys around LeBron. So I think that's why they did that. Also frees them up of that horrible Russ salary. So
that's true. Yeah.
Was it like $45 million or something was his deal?
Yeah, I think I can find it.
Now the question is, for Utah, I'm very curious what they're going to do there. If they're just going to buy out Russ, they're going to that's a lot of money to buy out a guy.
So in a buyout, though, you don't have to buy out the whole contract.
No, just a portion
because
of it.
That's what the Thunder did with Kemba before he signed with the Knicks. They bought him out, but he only got like $15 million out of the rest of his contract that he had signed with the Celtics. Yeah. I don't know how it works. Andrew's becoming a lawyer, so maybe one day he'll be able to read a contract and tell us how it works. That would be the idea.
Russ makes $47.6 million.
Holy.
0.06. Apologies.
But I think I mean they could release him, but then he'd still be on the books.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're gonna be paying for a guy that's just sitting at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Carolina Panthers are doing that.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
the
that's true.
Lakers did that with Luol Deng. They finally paid off. It took them like 7 years to pay off Luol Deng's salary
Yeah, they
when
pay him like
he
$5
left.
million every year
Yeah, it's
for a while.
horrible.
Yeah.
But Russ, I mean, because right now, I would not. If Russ is actually playing for the Jazz, I'd be highly surprised because that young core group they have with like Sexton and Lauri Markkinen and all that young group, that's a hell of a young core. If you throw Russ in there, it's just gonna ruffle up all the feathers. And
Yeah. And
I,
you have the second youngest coach in the NBA out there
yeah,
too.
and then
Russ.
Timberwolves wise, you got a great point guard in Mike Conley Jr. Signing him up with Rudy and Carl Towns.
And he's got a
Well, and they
relationship
got
with
a lot of
Rudy.
other players in that. Who else went to Minnesota?
Nikhil Alexander Walker, Juan Castano Jr., and Damian Jones.
Okay,
Damian
Plus
Jones isn't
picks.
bad.
so I feel like one or two of those guys probably might
Yeah.
get like waived.
Yeah.
Juan Toscano Anderson, a solid big guy to come off your bench. I
He's
don't know.
He's
I know
a good
Nikhil,
backup to either Towns or Gobert, whoever's coming off.
yeah,
Yeah.
Serviceable.
Nikhil Alexander Henry has been all this hype for plenty of years. We just haven't gotten much from him. Just hasn't translated well to the league. And then I really don't know too much about Damian Jones, honestly.
I'm just interested because everything that people were saying was Cat and D'Angelo Russell were our best friends, like on and off the court. So where was this was he not meshing with Anthony, whatever the kid is?
Anthony Edwards?
Anthony Edwards, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Was he not meshing there? Because they play the same role.
That's true.
And Anthony Edwards is younger, a little bit more consistent at times, but Russell has probably one of the nicest shots in the NBA, in my opinion. So I wonder what happened there, but he goes back to LA, and LA is what, number 10 in the West right now, Kevin? Somewhere around there?
They were not that close last time I
were.
They definitely, unless I'm highly surprised, they were more like 12 or 13.
All right, let's look. Hold on. Standings.
All right, here we go. NBA standings.
13. They're behind the Thunder and
Kevin
the Jazz and the Blazers.
Yeah. But look at that, so all those teams that made deals, they're all in that bottom half of the conference.
We got the Mavs who made the Irving deal. You have the Suns who made the KD deal. So they're 4 and 5.
Yeah, bottom
Oklahoma
half.
made a good one.
The Clippers made a couple of good moves.
Yeah, the Clippers did make moves. And Portland made a few moves.
Portland made a couple.
They're in that trade with the Knicks.
Yes, Portland trading Josh Hart to the Knicks for Cam Reddish.
What are your thoughts on that?
Random guys off the street.
Yeah, they traded all three of us over there. They were like, "Oh, there's 3 bums. Go."
No, I think it's good because, well, one, it helps team morale. Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart played together at Villanova.
Yep,
that's cool.
Yeah, did you see his reaction when he found out?
Yeah, when he was he was at Nova getting inducted to their basketball Hall of Fame or whatever. But yeah, I think that helps. Another young guy that's willing to move. Cam Reddish just didn't really fit with us with the system. Didn't mesh well with Thibodeau's system. So I hope it works out. Fingers crossed. We're 7th in the East right now, so we could definitely use a little spark. And Josh Hart's he's in his best year right now, averaging around 14 a game, and I think 7 rebounds or 7 assists. He's averaging 7 or something.
I like him. He's a solid either starting small forward or come off the bench, depending on who's in front of him.
Yeah, he'll definitely be like one of the first guys off the bench, probably in that lineup that they normally do with Quigley, Hartenstein.
Mhm.
What's the other guy? Obi Toppin. Like he'll probably come out on that second line with them. And I'm honestly I'm shocked that I didn't hear Obi Toppin's name leave.
Yeah.
We had the talk of Zach Levine coming to the Knicks for Obi. I don't know if I would do it. I mean, if they really just want to do a flat trade, I could probably go be
Yeah,
down with.
but
But
Levine's making too much money, so you'd have to send somebody else over too, because Toppin's
and
making rookie deals still.
And on
and I
top of
don't.
that, Chicago's fan base would be absolutely livid if you drop Zach Levine for one player. He's like
Yeah,
loved there.
Yeah.
yeah, and
He's
also at
been
the
with them
same
forever.
time,
So.
I know he's like hurt right now, so like I don't want us to get trapped in us getting a guy that's so much money, where we've worked so hard for the last like couple years to like really like have like a solidified like you know build like correctly where it's proper drafting, giving the right contract amount for each guys. Like I don't want us like I just feel like us trying to get Levine is just us trying to do a thing blast from the past to like do a flash in the pan type move. And I don't think he's that type of move would have helped us in the long run. So I'm glad we're staying patient. Just keep doing what you're doing. I don't need them doing anything ridiculous. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Did you hear the one with the Raptors and the Spurs last
Jakob Podol.
Dude,
Jakob Podol going to
he started with the Raptors.
and he's the Spurs starting center. So Spurs, the Raptors just got better in a league they're not that competitive in. But hey,
Yeah. I saw the price for it. A player, a first round pick and 2 second-round picks for a center who's been in the league for I think it's like 8 years and has never been stellar. He's looking at his stats, he's had a good career.
I think the Raptors traded Kem Birch for
they did
for him. So Kem Birch I remember him from his Nevada days, like when we were in school. He's a serviceable player, but nothing out of this world. But you know what's amazing though is that so Toronto's number 10 and all that commotion that we kept hearing all week about is the Raptors gonna give up Fred VanVleet or
OG?
Oh yeah.
OG.
Yeah.
And the price tags for OG Anunoby, I thought were absolutely ridiculous.
Stupid. Was it like 2 or 3 first-round picks and 2 players was what they were looking for?
No, they were asking for 4 first-round picks for OG Anunoby. Hell,
no.
What?
He's not even an all-star.
That's like
4 first round. That's more. We couldn't even get Donovan Mitchell for offering 4 first-round picks. That's why I remember I kept hearing the Knicks in the commotion about us getting OG in a trade somewhere. But I'm like, no, I don't want somebody like that for that type of money. That's like a poison pill contract you're setting yourself up for.
Mm-hmm.
Before San Antonio traded with Toronto, they acquired another center. I don't know him. Dwayne Dedmon.
Oh, Dedmon.
Miami.
He's apparently
just
going to go get. He's going to get cut.
Money.
No. Yeah, they said it. I just saw something pop up before we jumped on that. Dedmon is one of the potentials for the buyout market.
They also got a second-round pick from that trade, just for the cash consideration to Miami, second-round pick, and Dedmon.
And then
it's funny because there's a lot of teams that are just throwing out their second-round picks, whatever. I don't need them.
You can find some good guys in it.
Well, it's crazy. Yeah, because the Warriors, I know they got 5 for just Wiseman. I was like,
yeah,
they're gonna go look for themselves another Draymond Green.
Yep.
And
then
after he goes to the Lakers in this offseason.
Oh God,
that would be.
It's gonna happen.
Lit.
That's my prediction for the offseason.
Say that again, so everybody can hear you.
One more time.
Draymond Green to the Lakers this offseason.
All right.
Oh boy, y'all hear it first.
That's gonna be
man really likes LeBron.
He does. But I don't know if I don't know if those two would get along playing with each other.
Well, LeBron just lost Pat Bev, so he needs someone who's an offensive liability but a defensive powerhouse.
Needs a dog.
I can't believe they
I
got
feel
rid of
really
Pat.
bad for Pat Bev. I put this
Oh,
in the
wait.
group chat, but
We got
I feel
we got
so
we
bad
gotta
for
we gotta
Pat
talk
Bev.
about that trade. So yes, Pat
Yeah.
Bev got traded from the Lakers.
10 hours
Or-
after he tweeted about D'Angelo Russell
Was
coming
so
and being like
excited to
he's a
see D'Angelo
God's
Russell.
gift.
Yeah. And then of course we
Tweeted
trade him for Mo Bamba. Yes,
Yeah.
the person, not the song. So shout out to Mo Bamba. I think
He's been balling recently. I saw some
yes.
stuff on SportsCenter about him.
Other than him also getting into a fight with Austin Rivers off the bench.
Yep.
Freaking
Yeah,
clown.
he's suspended
for doing
for four,
that.
he's suspended for 4 games,
Yeah.
so he's not playing for a while.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but I
It's,
think that's a good deal for the Lakers because
Yeah. Pat Bev,
Again.
second round pick
again going
from Obama.
younger, and of course we got somebody on the bench with freaking glass for ankles. And, God forbid if Anthony Davis can't play, we got Mo Bamba out there. So
Watch
That's
out.
good
If
because Mo Bamba
jumps,
can
he
get
could
hurt
sprain
too.
both ankles.
I know they both can get hurt. That's right.
Yeah.
But I like what the Lakers are doing. They're trying to, get competitive, get younger, because I think you need that when you're in the Western Conference. You need solid guys that can play, but you can't just do the whole I'm gonna get all the old guys on one team anymore because we've seen how that goes.
Doesn't
Did not work for the Lakers.
Then our Andrew and our Celtics went and traded Justin Jackson and a second round pick for Mike Muscala, who apparently the Celtics were high on, I think, last year too.
Yeah, I heard stuff about him last year.
And he's not a defensive threat by any means or a rebounding threat, but he is a big who can shoot the three real well.
Rob is that threat. We got Rob.
Yeah, and like you can throw him in there. So he's basically taking the Gallinari role right now until he is healthy and ready to play, which hopefully will be in the playoffs.
Yeah. I'd be really excited to see him come back.
And then you can have a couple bigs roll out that can drain threes all over you.
The big lineup. Bring out JT, Rob, and
Jaylen Brown can be your point. No, just Jason Tatum be your point guard because Jalen's handles scare me sometimes.
Have JT bring up the ball.
So I know you were talking about feeling bad for players, Andrew. Does anyone else here not feel bad for Damian Lillard and how they're just blowing up the Blazers right now?
I feel bad for Damian Lillard always.
Every year, though.
I just always feel bad for Damian Lillard. He needs to get traded. He needs to
go to another team.
He needs to just go somewhere else.
He needs to walk into that office come new league year at the end of June and demand a trade.
That or get like an absolute bag where he doesn't have to worry about winning because it's not going to happen.
He has
it needs to be bigger.
Absolute bag, which was like
bigger.
$400
It needs to be bigger.
It needs to be bigger.
It's just amazing how it's amazing because he's just so loyal to this organization.
Yeah, for no reason.
Yet they
ever done for him?
Do anything to help get the team better. Like it's just like they traded Josh Hart away. Then literally
they traded his best friend away last
McCollum.
year.
Yeah, the McCollum last year. Then they traded away. Who else? Who else did they trade?
Knox.
Oh, they did get Matisse.
They acquired
Thybulle.
Knox. Right.
They got Matisse Thybulle from Philly, so that helps.
That's actually not a bad pickup because he's a better 3-point shooter than Hart is.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like you're just gonna let Dame just carry you guys
just suffer
everywhere.
Be carried to mediocrity.
Yeah, it's horrible.
One amazing shooter / point guard cannot carry your team to the playoffs.
He can't drop 60 points every game.
No, he literally can't, and he's already done it. Like I think 4 times we talked about a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Dame deserves better. That's my hashtag. Dame deserves better.
I want to buy a Dame jersey next year, and it be a different team.
That'd be great.
There you go.
I'd do it.
Yeah.
Also, I love that George Hill is now back on the Pacers.
Yeah, and Gary Payton's back on the Gold State
Warriors.
Talk about people going back.
Yes,
that was interesting.
Oh, some low key moves. The Clippers, they're making some moves out here. So they got Eric Gordon in that trade that sent our love of John Wall back to the
Mhm.
Rockets.
They got
Oh,
They
Mason.
also
and
got
then
picks in that
and
trade.
then two lower deals that no one's talking about. They got Mason Plumlee from the Clippers
for Reggie
for Reggie
Jackson.
From Charlotte.
Jackson, which
Who's-
now there's 5 point guards in Charlotte now. Like
Well,
how
now-
many,
They're just gonna
no.
how
run
many point
They
guards
they
do you
said-
have?
They said Reggie's a buyout. He's
Okay.
official. He's
Oh, is
100% going to be a bought out. Serge Ibaka, who got it traded, is being bought out.
Ibaka's still in the
And then
league,
don't
though.
forget, nobody's talking
He's on
about this
Indiana, though.
one.
Yeah, he's getting bought out. He went from the
Yeah.
Bucks to Indiana. He'll probably bounce back to the Bucks.
I mean, I could see it. Yeah.
And then don't forget, this is like a lower end deal, but Bones Highland going to
Who is this
The-
guy?
Bones Highland from Denver. He's like a guard. He was their like 26th pick. Little fun fact: Jess talked about him when he was on
Oh, yep.
the Governor's Challenge as one of like the best players he's seen too. Shout out to Bones Highland. But now the Clippers, they're trying to load up also.
Well,
And
they've got to get younger and healthier.
that is very,
Went
very
to-
true.
Well, also you got Josh
Bones.
Richardson go down to
Yeah.
New Orleans because the New
Mhm.
Orleans sent Devontae Graham to San Antonio and 4 second-round picks for Josh Richardson.
That's kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Josh Richardson
Bones
is not
averages-
worth that.
Bones averages
There-
12 points in 19 minutes.
Yeah, he could score.
Yeah,
Who's this?
Bones.
Yeah, Bones is
in
that dude.
19 minutes, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal.
Hell of a fantasy pickup, I would say. If I could get him.
Yeah,
And now we've got in the next 48 hours, we're going to see a lot of wheeling and dealing. And I'm going to say this. I'm surprised the Celtics didn't make more deals.
Yeah, me too.
100% expecting Pritchard to be gone, potentially
Yeah.
Grant Williams to be gone.
Really? I would have
So-
expected them to keep Grant.
The only reason I think they would have got rid of Grant is Grant's playing on a contract year. And
No,
when
that's
they
true.
offered him, I think it was like $14 million a year, something like that Smart has.
Yeah,
14, $15 million a year. Very good for a role player.
yeah.
Dude is looking
He
for
had
18 to 20 million a year.
Well, not that he deserves that.
No,
but
he doesn't.
Last season, he was for about a month and a half, I think, the best 3-point shooter in the league. He had the highest shooting percentage of any 3-point shooter in the league. So his
can-
his manager, his money manager, whoever the person who's telling him what deals to make is probably telling him, you were like that guy last year, so go get your bag. But in the Boston system, we can't give him that much money. It's not
No,
viable
it's
by any means.
You guys are
So-
also number one in
yeah,
the East.
yeah.
Like,
that's
what
true. We
other
are.
moves
We are. We're
can
kinda-
you
yeah.
guys do? Unless you're
well,
thinking about blowing shit up. Like,
they were going to try the rumor was the guy who was San Antonio dude. I can't remember how to say his name.
Jakob Poeltl.
Jakob Poeltl apparently was number 1 on their list, and they were trying to give up Gallinari and Pritchard and a couple second round picks for him. But San Antonio wasn't going to take it because Gallinari can't play, so they would have bought him out. And then you get Pritchard, and the San Antonio already has guards down there, so
Especially
they're good.
small guards. They don't.
Yeah. But instead, you just get rid of Justin Jackson, who just was sitting on the bench chilling. You bring in someone that can play. But after last night, I don't think we need any more 3-point shooters because Blake Griffin was draining them over the 76ers. Like,
Bro, I love Blake Griffin. I might get a Blake Griffin jersey.
Andrew, we're trying to find one when we get up to Boston. I might go home with like 3 jerseys.
Yeah,
To be straight up.
If you find the Blake Griffin jersey, let me know. Get it. I'll Venmo you.
All right,
Because
I can do that.
We'll
I
make
would
you
love
one.
a Blake Griffin
We'll make you one.
jersey.
If the worst case scenario is we have to make you one, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now that all the trades are done, nothing else is going to happen really tonight. We'll see more buyouts most likely in the next couple of days. And then we'll see probably by Monday, every player that gets bought out will sign somewhere with a new team,
Mhm.
most likely. At this point in time, after dust is all settled, what are your thoughts? Who makes the NBA finals now? What are where are your thoughts at with the teams and all the changes?
if I am looking at the standings right now, so if I have a feeling that the Nets are just gonna they're currently fifth in the East. They're just gonna drop all the way down out of there.
They might
Eastern
be playing.
Conference.
Probably not.
If I'm gonna go with my gut, and this is hard. This is definitely hard. Because like I look at the Western Conference and I look at a number 9 seeded Warriors, which is
Yeah.
terrifying. Because they could easily take out a number 2 or number 1 Grizzlies or Nuggets.
And we've
I'm
got a
scared
lot
for
of
the
basketball
Grizzlies.
left too.
I think if anybody
Yeah.
should be like actively afraid, it's the Grizzlies. Because
Since John made his
about
comment,
about like a week ago, Ja was saying that he's fine in the West, and now
Oh, yeah.
instantly the West looks like 100% more dangerous when he was not doing well in the West.
So
Yeah.
apparently when he said that comment, they were on a tear. Since that
Yeah.
comment, they've won 2 games
Trash.
and they've lost every single game to the West. So they're like 2-7 in the
Yeah.
last 9 games. It's
They're 15
crazy.
of 15 and 16 when playing the West. They've
Oh my
lost
God.
more than they've won.
So
Yeah, this is hard because I honestly I can't give you an answer right now. Can't give you an answer right now.
you just gotta throw it out there, Kevin. Throw
Kevin,
it out
can you
there.
give
Let's
us
check-
four teams.
Pick your top 4
2
teams.
from the East, 2 from the West.
Yeah, 2 from the East, 2 from the West.
Doesn't have to be any sort of like
These are your
this team
top
versus
2
this
teams.
team. Just
Instead
assemble
of
whatever 4 you can.
yeah.
I know, guys.
All right,
This
Kevin,
is-
you
this
can
is
do
really
mine.
hard.
You
Let
can go
Andrew
last.
go first.
Kevin, you go last.
Oh God.
Okay. So
I
I
love
think
putting pressure on Kevin. It's hysterical.
I think the West. Okay, this is okay. So I'm gonna completely
it's hard.
ignore.
It's hard.
I'm going to completely ignore the Denver Nuggets. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I would too.
I'm sorry. I think the Suns, if they play to this level that we discussed earlier, are a finals team again. And I think I've said this before, I never count Steph Curry out.
Yeah.
And all the moves that they made are good, and a lot of them are reminiscent of last year. We've got Gary Payton back. Not that like he was like a huge impact, but it's sort of like it's not going to be a like long crawl to get this team back together. They have chemistry. They know each other, and at this point, no, a little bit earlier at this point in the season, probably about 10 games earlier last year, Boston was in basically the same place there. They were 1 game above 500, and everyone was saying the season's a wash. They're not going to do well. And then we made the finals. And not that we won the finals, the Warriors beat us, but we made it. And I think the Warriors can have a similar crawl that we did.
Okay.
But it's going to require, like the Suns, that they play their best ball.
All right, so your top 2 in the West after this, and
Phoenix,
potential Western
State.
Conference Finals is Phoenix and Golden State. Okay. East.
And in the East, I mean, I gotta rep my Celtics. I don't see as much as the moves that happened. I don't see a team that really rivals us. But I do think that the Bucks are. It's Giannis, so
yeah.
And
remember they got Crowder, who's
they
a
got
decent
Crowder.
3-point shooter and a really good defender.
I've never said this on the podcast, but it's something that like I've pointed out a few different times. I think I talked to you about this at one point. Jay Crowder has there's a weird like path in his career where when he moves teams, the team he goes to almost always makes the finals. Yeah. He was on Boston when we lost to LeBron in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. He was in the Heat when they almost made the finals in the bubble. He was on Phoenix Suns when they played the Bucks. He's now going to the Bucks again. Milwaukee, or not again, but he was on the opposite side, and now he's on the Bucks. And there's still the Bucks. They're 37-17 right now. So I think the Jay Crowder magic can definitely have some impact here. So I would say those are my 4 teams. My 2 teams from the West, Phoenix and Golden State, and my teams from the East, Celtics and the Bucks. It's kind of interesting because my Western teams are not top 3 teams, and my Eastern teams are the top 2 teams.
So I've got my Eastern teams down, and Celtics 100%. Even with Jaylen Brown's injury, I think they have the pieces in place that allow for him to sit out for a couple of weeks, let that fracture heal, come back with his mask on, and pull a like Batman or whatever everyone calls him.
Yeah.
When they come out and just
Batman.
destroy teams for like
Grant.
3 weeks. But I'm gonna switch it up with my second team. It's gonna be the 76ers. I think getting rid of Thibault helps them out because Maxi's allowed to play more now.
Yeah.
That allows Maxi, who last year without Harden crushed it. So I think that helps them. I can't count out Joel Embiid or James Harden. Giannis is great, but they haven't had Chris Middleton all year. He's been in and out of the lineup because of his knee injury. Jay Crowder's good, not great. The white kid from Massachusetts, decent, can dunk out of nowhere, can shoot the three. Still not that good, but I know it's Giannis, and he can pull any team that he has, like as far as he needs to. But I think it's the Celtics and 76ers, which I found out last night have played the most games against each other out of any NBA teams ever, which is kind of cool. I am going to ignore the top 3 teams, or top 3 teams in the West. The Kings aren't going to keep going the way they're going. The Grizzlies are screwed. And the Denver Nuggets can't make it past the second round of the playoffs to save their lives. So take those 3 out. I'm going to go with the Warriors for sure. Can't count Steph Curry out. I know he's out injured right now, but you just brought back, Gary Payton Jr., who is a serviceable defender, good shooter to a degree, get you those garbage points. And then I'm gonna have to go with, I don't want to go with them because I want them to fail miserably, because I don't know, but I almost feel like the Clippers could sneak in there. I think the Suns are really good. Don't get me wrong. Those 3 guys are great. What do you have else besides Ayton? You have nothing else left on that team. It's role players and okay guys that are NBA players. Don't get me wrong. They're NBA players. They can play the game. They're very good at this game. But it's not the level that they need for backups. So maybe they'll do something in the buyout market. I also don't trust that Durant's going to be healthy. I don't trust Chris Paul going to be healthy. And Devin Booker cannot stay healthy. None of those 3 are healthy individuals. So I think they fall back to my 3rd spot. The Clippers added youth. They got rid of Reggie Jackson. They got rid of John Wall because they have good point guards and shooting guards already. They bring in Eric Gordon, who all he has to do is roll out of bed, sit on the bench, come in and throw some threes up, and then enjoy the game. If they stay healthy, I think they're the number 2 team, in my opinion. So Warriors, Clippers from the West, Celtics, 76ers in the East. So that's my numbers, my teams. What about you, Kev?
It's a struggle.
Oh,
All right,
gosh.
but
we gave you like 10 minutes.
Yes, and now we're over an hour. So
It's okay.
so much for us going for an hour. All right, so let me start off with what I'm definitely secure of is the Eastern Conference. Celtics and the Bucks will battle out again. I just definitely think for the Bucks, we need to look out for that Jay Crowder deal. I think it's very reminiscent of the year when they got PJ Tucker.
Ooh, yeah, sorry
So
about that one.
I think it was very, very, very similar move on their end. So I'm very curious how that develops. So those 2 for sure are going to be my Eastern teams, because as I go down this, Sixers, It can go either way. I just don't know. Cavaliers, I think they're a year away from making the next jump for another year with Donovan. The Nets will probably be at the bottom of this list next year. The Heat, they're just that team that's stuck in the middle right now. My Knicks, I think, are a move or two away from making a real true impact. They're stuck in the middle. And I think the Hawks, as great of a move as that was for DeJounte Murray, I think they're another team that's just going to be pretty much stuck in the middle until something else happens.
And you look at those, look at 9 through 12, or 9 through 13. They're all relatively close together.
Yeah, I know.
There's going to be a lot of changes in the bottom of that 9-10 spot.
Yeah, because one team, if he didn't get hurt, one team that I would have really loved to keep watching is the Pacers. If Halliburton didn't get hurt for those couple weeks, that could be a different record on their end. But I digress.
And if Ball didn't get hurt for the Bulls, I think the Bulls are a better team.
If Lonzo Ball could walk, then
yeah. All right.
I think they would be a completely different team.
What's your West, Kevin?
My Western Conference team. So what I'm gonna do is not what you guys did. I'm not gonna ignore the Denver Nuggets.
Ooh,
I'm gonna put them
putting
up
faith
there.
in them.
I respect that.
I think this is a year. Jokic. They got Jokic is another MVP stellar season. Jamal Murray, who we may have forgotten after his ACL injury, I think he's just starting to come back into form.
Yeah.
Then you also have Michael Porter Jr., who had his back problems, is just starting to try to figure it out now.
No, they don't. I'm pretty sure Porter got moved.
Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr.
I thought he got. Why did I think he got traded?
I don't know if he got traded.
He didn't, but I thought I heard his name get traded. But he didn't.
I think that he's been a part of rumors.
Okay, maybe that was it. Okay.
But the Aaron Gordon has resurrected his career after getting traded to the Magic to there. I think they can if there's a year for them to make the jump, it's this year. Now, with that, my second team, I listened to your guys' debates, and this is just me on the urge of being different.
Oh boy.
Let's take a look at number 2 and number 77 on the Dallas Mavericks and how they do. Sorry, I know you guys
like crap.
You guys don't like that, but
I didn't get to talk about this.
But hear me out. Hear me out. If everything plays out well, I just don't. If they can learn how to figure out how to play together, Luka is so dynamic of a player. Same with Kyrie. If they can figure it out, they're scary. But go ahead, Andrew. I'd love to know your thoughts on.
If the Mavericks can find a loophole in the NBA rules to put 2 basketballs on the court, they're going to do awesome. And if they can figure out an offensive strategy to give 2 ball handling guards the ability to ball handle at the same time, I will be not only very impressed, but I think they are very dangerous. I am very anti-superstar, like in the sense of like, let's just get a bunch of good guys on the same team and it'll work. I'm much more of like you need roles. You need people that work together, not only good players, but players that fulfill specific jobs. And if they can create a system in Dallas that suits both of their talents at the same time and they can play together, then I think it's very possible. If they can play sort of like, I guess in a way of how Boston runs JT and JB at the same time, then I guess they can make it work. But they're both very much the guy, or like so Luka's career, we've only seen him as the only one on his team. So I'd be interesting to see what happens now with Luka with help. But my question, and I sent this to the group chat, is does Kyrie want to be the help or does he want to be the guy? Because everything we've seen in the last 5 years says that Kyrie wants to be nothing but the guy.
Yeah, but what he also realizes especially
To
when
get
he
a
made
ring
the
again,
move. He needs
yeah.
to be. He realized when he moved to Boston that he is a hell of a number 2
Yeah.
and an okay number 1.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if he's gotten that into his brain, if he can be the greatest number 2 in the NBA, or one of the greatest and like number 2s in the NBA, or if he can be like a point guard in the sense like he'll bring the ball up, but he'll defer to the bigger, stronger, more weight presence in the court to Luka, then I think this works. But I think if you get Kyrie bringing the ball up, cooking a bunch of guys, shooting a mid range, Kyrie bringing the ball up, shooting a 3, Kyrie bring the ball up, diving into the paint, not kicking out, you're going to get Luka standing at the 3-point, looking around like, why am I still here? Because now you're having Kyrie take everything he used to do. So I think this is very possible to work. And I think it's very possible to be very good.
And I said it on our last episode. Dallas is doing the Paul George to Thunder deal where they're taking a guy where on his last year of the contract, they realize it doesn't work,
then
let
he'll
him
go somewhere
go,
else.
and they got tons of money to spend to replace him.
Apparently, there's a rumor that he wants to go to Phoenix.
Who?
Kyrie.
Oh, God. Why?
If that happens, Phoenix would have to get rid of everything that they have.
Yeah, and then they become the Nets 2.0. And do they want to be the Nets 2.0? I think, long story short, I think the Mavericks, it's definitely possible and it's definitely scary. Is it going to be very difficult? Yes. And if it works out in one of probably 10 different ways, you're going to either damage Luka's career or push him out of Dallas. And I don't think the Mavericks want to do either. So at this point, if it comes to the end of the season and they see one of those two things happening, they'll cut ties and sail off into the sunset with their money and Luka.
Yeah.
But if they can make it work, then I think it's great. And I'd love to see it because as much as I hate Kyrie, he is entertaining to watch, and Luka is a generational talent. So
Luka is
very
special.
good.
Luka is super special.
I have a friend that claims that at the end of Luka's career, we'll consider him top 10, possibly top 5 players of all time. And I don't want to talk about if I agree with that or not, because that's a completely different conversation. But that just to show how impactful he can be.
That's true.
We'll talk about that in like 5 years. Is it?
Yeah, we'll talk about that when that happens.
That's a much later conversation.
It's past that hour time. We only want to do this quickly, guys. So this will be out shortly. Kevin, take us out of here, buddy.
Yes, outro time here for the Mainly Musings Podcast. Just to give you a couple updates on things that are happening. Today, Andrew released episode 9 of our We Out Here series. It's of myself and Merritt over at the UBS Arena, home of the New York Islanders. Really, really fun. Make sure you guys check that out. They're going to get the podcast releasing with Chris momentarily that we've recorded this week. Talk about the Super Bowl preview. And then next week, it has been the long-awaited return of the wrestling podcast. All the boys are back. The band is back together.
Joe Mack too.
Joe Mack too. Oh. So it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I'm very, very excited. So that's that. But here, outro time. Number 1. Thank you for those that are watching at our YouTube. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe, like our page at the Mainly Musings Podcast. Make sure you listen to us on all of our streaming platforms. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. We are on Google Play. We are on Amazon Play. Make sure you go ahead and follow the podcast Instagram at the Mainly Musings Pod. Andrew, shout out to the producer. Make sure you follow him at AMLville56. Follow Merritt at Merritt_P. Follow me at KQuavo624. And yes, have a great Thursday night.
Peace, y'all.